Hello, Eastside Youth. This is your midweek encouragement video. I hope you guys are doing well and staying dry. It is rainy, but here we are. I hope this finds you guys well. First week back to school from the break. Just hang in there. Hopefully there will be some change sooner than later. I'm going to jump right into this, and then I've got a couple of things to let you guys know about pertaining to Sunday in just a second. So we're going to continue our bit in the Hall of Faith. Last week we talked about Jacob and how Jacob at the end of his life blessed Joseph's sons, so his grandsons, trusting that the blessing was going to pass to the next generation. And so today we're looking at Joseph. And it's Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 22. It says, "By faith, Joseph at the end of his life made mention of the exodus of the Israelites and gave directions concerning his bones." And this story goes back to Genesis chapter either 49 or 50. I believe it's 50 though, where his brothers and their families come and settle, and the people of Israel settle in the land of Egypt. And Joseph goes to die, and before he dies, he tells the next generation and those gathered, hey, one day our family is going to leave Egypt. And when you do that, make sure that you take my bones with you back to the promised land. And so in doing that, this in Hebrews is saying that Joseph had enough faith to trust that they were not going to be in Egypt forever. And remember, he had actually found a pretty good life there. Potiphar had put him in charge of just about everything. He had headed up collecting food for the famine, and he was actually in a position of power in Egypt. But even he had faith to say, hey, when my people, when you leave Egypt one day, and if you want to know more about that, you can read about it in the book of Exodus. That's what it's all about. But he says, take my bones with you. Take them back into the land of promise. And for Joseph to say that, it tells us that he still counted the promises of God, and he still had faith that God was going to deliver on those promises, but also tells us that even though he was a leader in Egypt, that he understood that was a stepping stone for what God had for his people. And so when we look at Joseph, we're talking about what faith and how faith prompts people to take action. And in this case, it caused him to have people do something outside of his control. He didn't have control over whether or not they did this, but he had faith that his people were going to go back. And as such, he said, okay, when you do, take my bones with you back to the land to be buried. And so this week we looking at Joseph and his faith. Next week we're going to begin talking a little more about Moses, because Moses is the one who God actually has deliver and bring his people out of Egypt. A couple things for this Sunday. So you guys might have seen I put out an image for this Sunday. This Sunday at 4 p.m., which is normally when we start youth group, is the pastor Q&A. And so the church has nominated, and they're looking at Elder Ben at being our pastor. And so this Sunday at 4 is the Q&A. So if you guys have questions, specifically questions about things that Ben believes, or things Ben is going to do in the church, or things Ben is going to do in regards to youth, or for those of you older folks, young adults, or maybe plans that he has for those things, bring those questions. You can ask those, and there will be other folks from the church there. But this is also an opportunity to remind you guys that you are a part of the church. And whoever ends up being our pastor, whether it's Ben or someone else, they will be your pastor as folks who attend Eastside. And so this is an important thing for you guys to see a bit of the process and how these things work. And so if you have questions, you can feel free to submit those beforehand, and I think you can just send them to the office. I think it's like office@eccfamily.com. You're free to message them to me, and I'll send them on, or however works for you, but you can also just bring those questions. And then when those questions are done, we will go from there, and we won't have a lesson. We're going to use this as kind of a lesson-like thing, and we'll go into an activity from there this Sunday. Also, a reminder, if you have not yet signed up for the tubing day, please do so. The cutoff for that is in 3 days on Saturday the 9th. And I plan on putting that out to some young adult folks here in a couple days when we meet. And so, yeah, just keep that in mind. And if you are planning on going, and even if you're not, for this year, you got to get that permission slip in. It's online. It's all online this year. And it's just a Google form. It doesn't take too long to fill out. And so please get that filled out so that way you guys can participate in the events that we will have, not just the tubing, but also afterwards. And yeah, I think that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you have a good rest of your week. I love you guys, and we will see you soon. Take care.